Do you remember Fran Fine's unforgettable voice, her glamorous outfits, and the Sheffield mansion? The Nanny became one of the most loved sitcoms of the 1990s. But after the cameras stopped rolling, the lives of its stars took some surprising turns. Today, we're finding out where the cast is in 2026. Some became even more successful, some chose quieter lives, and sadly, one beloved star is no longer with us. Before we begin, like this video, subscribe to TV Legends today, and let's take a trip back in time. Fran Drescher, Fran Fine. Back in 1993, Fran Drescher introduced us to Fran Fine, the fashionable nanny from Queens who somehow walked into Maxwell Sheffield's life and completely turned his household upside down. Her voice, her outfits, and that unforgettable laugh made Fran instantly recognizable. But what made the character special was her heart. Beneath all the comedy, Fran genuinely cared about the Sheffield children, and viewers couldn't help but become attached to her. After The Nanny ended in 1999, Fran Drescher continued acting, but her life took a serious turn when she was diagnosed with uterine cancer. Thankfully, she survived and later became a strong advocate for cancer awareness. Then came another unexpected chapter. Drescher became deeply involved in Hollywood labor issues and eventually became president of SAG-AFTRA, representing thousands of performers. Today, at 68, she remains active in entertainment and advocacy. It's remarkable to think that the woman who made us laugh as Fran Fine would eventually become such an influential voice in Hollywood. But the next cast member had an equally fascinating journey. Charles Shaughnessy, Maxwell Sheffield. Charles Shaughnessy played Maxwell Sheffield, the sophisticated Broadway producer whose carefully controlled life became much less predictable after Fran arrived. The chemistry between Maxwell and Fran was one of the biggest reasons audiences kept coming back. After the show ended, Shaughnessy continued working steadily in television, film, theater, and voice acting. He appeared in numerous television productions and continued his connection to the stage, something that suited him perfectly after playing a Broadway producer on The Nanny. Unlike some stars who struggle to escape a famous sitcom role, Shaughnessy embraced his television history while continuing to explore different characters. Born in 1955, he is 71 years old in 2026. And for longtime fans, seeing him today can bring back memories of Maxwell standing in that elegant mansion, trying desperately to maintain order while Fran turned everything upside down. But perhaps the most entertaining transformation belongs to the man behind Niles. Daniel Davis, Niles. If you watched The Nanny, you probably remember Niles. Daniel Davis played the Sheffield family's sarcastic butler, whose rivalry with C.C. Babcock became one of the show's funniest running jokes. Niles could deliver an insult with a completely straight face, and somehow that made it even funnier. But Daniel Davis was already a highly respected actor before joining the sitcom. He had an extensive theater background and later appeared in television and film, including a memorable role as Professor Moriarty on Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's what makes his career so interesting. While millions knew him as the sarcastic butler, Davis continued building a career across different genres. Born in 1945, he is 81 years old in 2026. His appearances may be less frequent today, but his performance as Niles remains one of the most memorable parts of The Nanny. And honestly, it's difficult to imagine anyone else delivering those lines quite like he did. But what happened to CC after the show ended? Her story took a completely different direction. Lauren Lane, CC Babcock. Lauren Lane played CC Babcock, Maxwell's ambitious business partner who spent years hoping their relationship would become something more. Her rivalry with Fran created some of the show's funniest moments. But after The Nanny ended, Lane gradually moved away from mainstream Hollywood. She continued acting for a while, but eventually became involved in education and theater, choosing a quieter professional life. It's an interesting reminder that fame doesn't always determine someone's future. After spending years in front of millions of television viewers, Lane found fulfillment outside the Hollywood spotlight. Today, at 65, she remains remembered fondly by fans of the series. For viewers who grew up watching CC compete with Fran, it may be surprising to discover how different her real life became from her glamorous sitcom character. And then there were the Sheffield children, who literally grew up in front of our eyes. Nicole Tom, Maggie Sheffield. Nicole Tom played Maggie Sheffield, the sweet and sometimes shy daughter of Maxwell. For many fans, Maggie was one of those characters who made the nanny feel like a real family. But Tom's journey after the show is especially interesting because she successfully continued working as an adult actor. She appeared in numerous television shows and films and also became known for voice acting. She voiced Supergirl in animated projects and continued taking on different roles instead of allowing Maggie Sheffield to define her entire career. Born in 1988, Nicole Tom is 38 years old in 2026. And that's one of the strangest things about watching old sitcoms. You remember these actors as children, but suddenly decades have passed. The little girl audiences knew as Maggie is now a grown woman with a career of her own. Benjamin Salisbury, Brighton Sheffield. Benjamin Salisbury played Brighton Sheffield, Maxwell's mischievous son. Brighton was confident, funny, and occasionally a little too clever for his own good. After The Nanny, Salisbury continued acting for several years, but eventually stepped away from the entertainment business. Unlike many former child stars, he didn't spend decades trying to remain in the Hollywood spotlight. Instead, he chose a much more private life. Born in 1980, he is 46 years old in 2026. For fans who remember Brighton running around the Sheffield mansion, it can be surprising to realize that he has been away from the spotlight for so long. But sometimes, the greatest success is simply finding a life that makes you happy away from the cameras. And now, we come to one of the most emotional stories from the cast. And Morgan Gilbert, Yetta. And Morgan Gilbert played Yetta, Fran's hilarious grandmother. Yetta was one of those characters who could walk into a scene and instantly change the mood. Her humor, personality, and unforgettable moments made her a fan favorite. But sadly, her story came to an end. Gilbert continued acting after The Nanny and appeared in several television productions, including Seinfeld. She passed away in 2016 at the age of 87 after battling cancer. Her passing was a heartbreaking moment for fans who had grown attached to Yetta. But her performances remain. Whenever viewers return to The Nanny, and Morgan Gilbert is still there, making them laugh. And perhaps that's one of the most beautiful things about classic television, the people we watched decades ago can still make us smile today. It's incredible to think that more than 30 years have passed since The Nanny first premiered. The cast changed, their lives changed, and some sadly left us, but the laughter remains. Which cast member surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this nostalgic journey, like and subscribe to TV Legends today. Then check out our previous video on Home Improvement cast then and now 2026. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.